can't explain this to the blind. May you wake up from inside, see the truth through the third eye. Let your heart be your guide, light up the way. Let your heart be your guide. Free from your pain, it ain't a mistake, cause you choose your fate.
Okay. Let me just get comfortable. I also... Yes, cross-legged. Yes. I also have my Yoli tea. It's piping hot, so I'm gonna let it cool off. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you have seen my thumbnail, obviously shocking thumbnail, but I wanted to talk about it because it's important. I have prayed, I have meditated, I have asked God for guidance on how to deliver this message for years. I've been leading up to this day where I'm able to talk about this and it doesn't have power over me, right? A lot of the times you'll see a lot of victims, people that have gone through things, they can't talk about their trauma or the things that they've gone through because it re-triggers them. It reawakens that pain within them, right? And so for years, I couldn't talk about this. And I know you're going to want a story time, but that is not what this video is about today. So please stay tuned for story time. This video, I don't want pity. I haven't talked about this. I mean, I've been a public person. My TikTok page is over 50,000 followers. I have a podcast. I've amassed over almost 38,000 plays. And though I've shared little bits of this in my podcast, I have not shared the story of what happened. And the reason that I haven't shared the story of what happened is because when you heal and you detach from that version of yourself, it no longer has that much power in your life. It's no longer the main event of your life. And for years, that was the main event in my life. My pain, my suffering, the experiences that I had that were tragic, right? My tragic story was the main events of my life. And when you heal and you learn to love yourself and you release that version, you let go of that version of yourself, you no longer resonate with that version of you, right? It's like you re-emerge like the butterfly from a cocoon. You know, you shed the skin like the shake shedding its skin. It's no longer who you are. And so I have prayed, I have meditated, I have asked God for guidance, and I've asked God to help me properly articulate this message because I know that I need to share this part of my life with you. It's not for me. It's to help people. And so I'm not sharing these images or this part of my journey with you for pity. No. And that's another reason why I haven't shared this part of my life with people, because the last thing that I want is pity. No pity. I am not a victim. You got to hear me when I say that again. I am not a victim. For a long time, I was a victim in my life. Not just from this event, right? Not from just this part of my story. I was a victim my whole entire life. I was a victim. I was a victim to my circumstances. I was a victim to, the situations in my life. I was I never felt worthy. And because I never felt worthy, I invited people, situations, things into my life that did not value me based on how I felt about myself. The reason I'm sharing this part of my journey now is because I'm a healer. I'm a life coach. And I know that, a lot of people, they don't know where I came from. And this is a testimony because I want people to know that you do not have to be a victim in your life. I don't carry that weight around with me in my life, that pain. The girl that I see in that photo, that's not me anymore. She's gone. It's like she's dead. She's gone. That version of me died. And I can honor the life that I'm living now. I can live in the present. I can create a positive future for myself based on me being in the now and not living in my past. See, a lot of you live in the past. Like myself, I lived in the past. And I was just creating my life based on those, being a victim to my circumstances from things that happened to me in the past. And I was carrying that into my future with me and recreating those situations in my life. You see, if I loved myself, if I knew myself, if I valued myself, then that would be a reciprocation of what I was experiencing in my life. People would value me. People would show up for me. People would appreciate me. And I went my whole life feeling not appreciated, feeling not valuable, feeling unworthy, feeling unlovable, feeling like I was always going to be abandoned. People would always leave me. Nobody chose me. I am not good enough. And because of that, I spent my life trying to prove that I'm good enough for people. And when you live in that space within yourself, people do not value you. They do not show up for you. No matter how much love you give, no matter how much you're like, I'm here, just love me, be there for me. No matter how good of a person you are, they will not value you. And it's because it is a physical manifestation of how you're feeling about yourself. And so you have to get so freaking tired of living that life. You got to get so tired of that existence. And that's where I got. For a long time after the event in this picture, I was miserable. And that was the main event of my life. Like that was such a terrible thing that had happened to me that it was the main scene in my life, and it just was always something that had so much weight on me, and I was holding on to it and not forgiving the person. I was carrying around all that madness and anger, and I was miserable in my life. I was miserable. I was a victim to my circumstance. And that person who did that was the main character in my story for years, main character in my story. But when I healed and I forgave, not for him, but for myself, right? Because we forgive for ourselves. And I'm going to do more videos about forgiveness because a lot of you need that and you deserve it. You deserve to be free from the baggage that you're carrying around with you, right? The energy that you're hoarding in your body, right? It needs to be let go. You have to let it go. The reason that I kept ending up in situations where I wasn't valued and underappreciated is because I was carrying that energy around with me. And it was just showing up again in other situations, people, places, and things in my life. You have to let it go. And when you learn to let it go, it no longer has power over you. The people that hurt you and do things to you no longer have power over you. You're able to let it go. And from this space of healing, right? As you heal, you come into this place of valuing yourself. It is then presented to you in your reality. And people show up valuing you. They show up loving you. They choose you. You're a priority. You're important. And people let you know. They give you that energy based on how you're feeling about yourself. And so the reason that I'm sharing this image is because that's an old version of me. And I honor her because she didn't love herself. And this is the version that I have healed and become. And it's a testimony because I'm here to tell you that if I could do it, you can do it. You have the power to be the best version of yourself and no longer let your past control the future that you want to create for yourself. And so please, 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 no pity in the comments. I don't want any pity in the comments. I don't want to hear, oh, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Because listen, when you heal and you finally take the reins of your life, you look back on your life and you realize the role that you played in showing up in your life that attracted in a situation like that. Right? You take the blame off of that person, right? Even though they did some awful things. And some of you have had some very awful things happen in your life. But if you loved yourself, if you knew your value, if you knew your worth, you would have not ended up in that situation. And so we have to teach ourselves how to love ourselves and forgive what has happened to us and set ourselves free in order for us to be and show up as this new version of ourselves. So no pity party. Again, I'm not a victim. I'm not even a survivor. I'm just a human being that's gone through some unfortunate events, and I'm here to share my story. And I remember when this happened to me, I was so sad and miserable for some time. But I knew on a soul level that this was a really profound and important part of my story. Not that this person was going to have that much importance in my life, because again, that person doesn't. And I'm going to share with you in other videos, how to heal and forgive and take their power away from them, right? Take the power away from the narcissist. But because so many people in this world are hurt and lost and sad. And if I could align myself, my mind, my body, my soul with my purpose and with divine and with becoming the best version of myself and releasing myself from my pain and suffering, then I know that I can share my story and help somebody else. So for those of you that are interested, I am a healer and a life coach. And if you're experiencing this pain and suffering in your life and you need guidance and you want some clarity and some help along your healing journey, you can join me at www.feelswithmeesh.com. You can book a session with me on there. I also have a podcast, Feels with Meesh, with tons of free healing content on there. And please stay tuned. I know that a lot of people are going to be curious as to what happened, and the time is now. I've held off for a long time in sharing this story. I've held off because, again, I know it's going to open myself up to a whole new type of energy in my life. And I didn't know if I was going to be ready for it, but I don't think you're ever really ready. And if it's your purpose, it's going to be something you're probably going to have to do that's uncomfortable. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing, beautiful, positive day because you absolutely deserve it.
Try and explain this to the blind. May you wake up from inside. See the truth through the third eye. Let your heart be your guide. Light up the way. Let your heart be your guide. Free from your pain, it ain't a mistake, 'cause you choose your